the Speak Up series. Now, in case you're new to the Speak Up series essentially it's a platform that I'm going to be answering some of your burning questions pertaining to effective communication, entrepreneurship, or personal motivation. And today, I'm very happy to have one question touching on the topic of effective communication, specifically on impromptu speaking. Let's hear the question.
Lauren asks, "Hi Sir Darren, a blessed day from the Philippines. I would just like to ask, aside from reading, how do you prepare for an incoming impromptu speech since you don't have any idea on what topic will be given to you?"
Thank you very much for the question. In fact, when it comes to impromptu speaking, a lot of individuals fear that because it means it's very demanding. Number one, on the ability to think and react really fast on your feet. Number two, you don't have that sense of security of rehearsing through and running through those materials. When it comes to impromptu speaking, how exactly do you rehearse and prepare such that you can become so confident that people would think it's a prepared speech, even though you do not know the topics beforehand? Now today I want to share with you a technique, and it's called the technique of categorization. Now what exactly is the technique of categorization? It means this, that many a times when we are posed with a topic, our brain actively search for what we call links to some of the categories that we are already familiar with. Take for instance, if you take part in an impromptu speech contest and a topic comes out with a particular slant or a dimension that's more suited towards, say, a motivational genre. But in your mind, if you don't have that kind of category, then you find that it's rather hard to fit. So my advice to you is in two main ways. The first one is to broaden the number of categories that you have, from things like motivation to things like entrepreneurship, from things like success, effective communication, personal relations, love matters, dealing with obstacles, so on and so forth. Because you see, the more categories that you have, it ensures that you have a wider net in which you can cast, you can ask, and you'll be able to retrieve that information should a topic be posed to you. Now the second part of the analysis is this. What happens when you have identified all these different categories? You will need to populate these categories with two things. Number one, stories, and number two, quotations. You see, sometimes when you tell a story, it need not just fit in one particular category per se. That particular story might even be useful for the other categories. For instance, my own signature story of how I went from zero to hero, why I firmly believe public speaking is more of nurture than nature. That story itself is useful not just for the effective communication genre, but it's also useful in the motivation genre. It's also useful in the getting the mentor genre or overcoming obstacles genre. So the moment you have a story, it ensures that you have a lot more fit with these different categories. So populate these categories with stories and you'll be pleasantly surprised that it overlaps with several of these other categories that you might have. And chances are, should you do this enough, diligently enough, and often enough, whatever question or topic that they pose to you, chances of it hitting at least one of the categories would be very, very much higher. So that's the technique of categorization in impromptu speaking. Many people think that impromptu speech has nothing for you to prepare or to rehearse beforehand, but that's not true. In fact, you have a lot of these things which you can prepare beforehand and you can rehearse through those stories. Sure, there's no guarantee that that particular story might come out, but more importantly, when it's so well rehearsed, should it come out or should you feel that I can draw a link there, you will immediately be able to deliver a very, very polished piece. I'd like to end off by just sharing with you a short story of a good friend of mine who took part and became a district table topics champion. What this means, it means he's a national impromptu speech champion. And how did he do it? He spent months prior to the grand finals itself plowing through the past 10 years of topics. That's easily more than 125 different topics. And he also used the categorization technique, categorize these different topics and have a story for each of these categories. Chances are, for the grand finals, that topic easily fit into either one of those categories. So how about you? Do you have sufficient categories? Count the number of categories that you have, and are they well populated with stories and quotations? So that's the question that we have for today. In this particular episode, I'm going to be doing something different, where I will be asking you a question instead. And my question is this: rehearsals come before results, even in the dictionary. What this means is, if you flip through the dictionary, the word rehearsals come before the word results. And let's take this to the public speaking context itself. How do you rehearse for a public speech? How do you rehearse for a high-stakes presentation? How many times do you rehearse? Keep your answers coming in. I'll be more than happy to take a look at them, and stay tuned to the next episode of Speak Up. Ask as many questions as you want related to effective communication, personal motivation, and entrepreneurship. And I'll be answering these questions. Send them in to my Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube channel. I'll see you very soon.